Okay, and we are back online with our next episode, our masterclass, our webinars. I would like to introduce our next speaker, Thando Sibanda, Dr. Thando Sibanda. Thando's been working with me for quite a while. I'm fascinated with the topics he's got. He's going to take you guys through the winning mindset, and let me not take up too much of his time. I'm just introducing him. Thando, welcome online.
Well, thanks, Eugene. I'm very excited to be here.
Okay, so I'm gonna, before Thando starts, I hope you guys enjoy it. You guys were on my session. Remember to thumbs up. Thando will take you through it. I'll see you guys later.
Sure. Lovely. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much, Eugene. Really appreciate this moment. Just a little bit about myself to everybody who's on this call, on this webinar. My name is Dr. Thando Sibanda. I'm a leadership consultant. I'm a neuroscientist, and I do a lot of mindset training, leadership, culture. I do personal breakthrough coaching. So I help individuals and organizations sort of get unstuck and move towards their desired goals. And so that's my area of training. That's my area of function. And so I'm very, very excited to be with you on this call. And today we're going to be discussing something very, very interesting. As you know, there'll be some polls during the session. Please just respond on the polls. I think they'll pop up on your screen, but I'll let you know whenever there's a poll, and we can go through that together. Eugene will be driving, the engine from the back room, and so I think everything should be good. Everything should be well. Right. Now, let me thank you. Thanks, Carl. Good to see you. Thanks, Peter. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm very excited to have all you guys here. Right. Let's see how this goes. I realize, hey, Lucky, what's up? Great stuff. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take you through the presentation just bit by bit in terms of what I am talking about, and just how that whole concept of the winning mindset works out. In fact, today I'm talking to you about the winning mindset, and that's what I want us to talk about. Because there's always this. I'm very fascinated. I'm a student of neuroscience and the winning mindset. In fact, by the way, I have a book out. I wrote a book on the same topic. It's called Metanoia, the winning mindset. You can just get in touch with Eugene if you want to find out where to purchase it, or it's available also on my website. So I've done quite a bit of study in this. And I believe that there's some benefit for all of us. Now, there's something very interesting about this concept of winning. Everybody loves to win. Nothing really is terrible as long as we're winning. People don't mind if you are not doing the best job as long as everyone is winning. And then it led me to start asking this question: is winning a science, or winning is just an art? Is there a way behind winning that we can learn and get to understand, and therefore increase our chances to win, and therefore increase and change our mindset towards winning? Are winners born? Are winners made? Some seem to have figured out winning and they do it more often, and while some lose and do it more often. And so the question is there such a thing as a winning chromosome? Can we decode the winning chromosome? And that's part of what I want to deal with today. Let's stay together. I'm sure we are going to have a good time. Now, one of the key things that I like to say is that winning is a mindset. And that's my position, and that's what I'm going to be really delving into for the rest of this presentation. Winning is a mindset. Why? Because the battle must first be won in the mind before the body shows up in the field. So the battle must first be won in the mind. It doesn't matter how good your skill is, but if you don't have the mindset to win, you will not achieve it, or at least you will not achieve it consistently. And that is why I'm bringing up the whole concept. Winning is a mindset. Winning is both a science and an art. You've got to embrace the science of winning before you participate in the art of winning. And that's very, very important. Let me go to my next slide. You see, I love athletics. I love athletics, and for those that are very athletic, and you know, the Olympic Games are the holy grail of athletics, and nothing really gives me a better case study than to take us all back to 2012 London Olympics. You know, 4x100 meter relay. I love that relay. I used to run it when I was a kid before I put on some extra weight. You know, I was a very good 100 meter runner. And so the 4x100, I love it. Why? Because it's quick. Within like 40 seconds or a minute, it's over. If you step out to take a call and you come back a minute later, you have missed it. But the stakes are high, so the energy levels are high, the emotions are high. Wow, the 4x100 is amazing. And remember, in 2012, Jamaica came there. You know, their star quartet of Johan Blake, Michael Frater, Nesta Carter, and of course the awesome Usain Bolt. They came to run at those Olympics. Now, here's the interesting thing. You know, their arch nemesis was America, with Trell Kimmons, Justin Gatlin, Tyson Gay, and Ryan Bailey. And this rivalry has gone on forever. I want to say to you, it takes a mindset to win. Now, why do I say that? I say that simply because where skill sets are matched, it is the stronger mind that takes the day. Now, guess what? The race starts. And by the end of the race, the stronger mindset had won. Why am I saying this? Look at this. Jamaica came to the Olympics in 2012 not to beat America. No, they came to beat the clock. Remember, they had set a previous record. I think it was 37.4 seconds that they had set before that. You know, I think it was in Beijing before that. And they came to the Olympics to run against themselves. They were like, we need to beat the clock. We need to set a new world record. But whoever, right, wants to beat us, whoever wants to win, must then beat our previous record, because that's what we're going to beat. And so their mindset was not even on the competition. Maybe a little bit, you know, America, they were very loud. You know, Justin Gatlin was very loud about it. And, you know, and there was a lot of energy. We're going to finally beat Jamaica. We're going to do this. But these guys were like, forget the opponents. Let's beat the clock. Whoever wants to win will beat the clock. You know that by the end of those 40 seconds on average, Jamaica had not only won, but they had set a new world record, 36.84 seconds. Up till today, man, that race is one of the best. That race, everybody talks about it. Why? Because they literally immortalized themselves. But when you look deep at the Jamaican philosophy, in fact, Jamaica is a very small country. It's a small nation with less than 3 million people, and it's incredible to think that they go 6 levels deep in terms of their athletics, in terms of the quality of sprinters, you know, and all that. 6 levels deep for a country of less than 3 million people. You see, it's a mindset. It's a science. It's not just because the guys are good at running. No, it's a whole science of winning. They have decoded the winning chromosome, and I'm going to share quite a bit of that with you today in terms of how it goes down. Yeah. Thanks, Lucky. The presentation should be available. I think you can just connect with Eugene after this. It should be available. Right. So now these guys have decoded the winning chromosome, and I want let's get into the science behind it. Like I said, winning is both a science and an art. It's a science and it's an art. So let's look at the science of it. What is the tool? What's the main tool to a winning mindset? Or rather, what's the main tool to winning? I'd like to say that the most important tool to winning is, of course, our brain. It's our brain. Now, our brain is a very interesting tool, by the way. We're talking about 3.3 pounds in terms of just its weight, which is about 1.5 kilos. 60% of fat. It's one of the fattest organs in the human body, and about 75% of our brain, of your brain and my brain, is made of water. And that's it. But here is where the science gets interesting. Here is where the neuroscience of it gets interesting. Your brain has about 160,000 kilometers of blood vessels. 160,000 Ks, longer than any highway in the world. And your brain has 100 billion neurons. 100 billion neurons. It's very, very amazing. I'm gonna get into that just a little bit later in my presentation, and we've got to understand, when we look at the brain, one of the founding fathers in terms of just understanding the brain, a neuroscientist by the name of Paul MacLean in the 1960s came up with the triune brain theory. Yes, of course, we have advanced in terms of study. Now we have got MRI scans. We can see exactly what's happening, which parts of the brain are active when and how. All of that is available. But he came up with just the basic structure that helps us understand the human brain. And you've got the three areas of the brain. The first one, of course, is the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is where all of our instinctual behavior comes from. The reptilian brain looks after us in terms of, our survival. Anything that threatens survival, the reptilian brain comes in. That's where you find it keeps all the blood organs pumping. It makes sure that function happens, and it's concerned with survival. It's concerned with reproduction. So it's all about just keeping this creation called the human alive. They call it the reptilian brain because it doesn't think. It simply functions on the basis of its core mandate. That's where all of our impulsive behavior comes from, Dario, and I'm going to explain a little bit of that. Of course, things like your fight or flight, responses and all of that. That's the reptilian brain. In fact, most of the adverts today are geared towards the reptilian brain. If you find adverts that say, look, I've got this big problem, and if I don't solve it, I'm in trouble. You find that all of those are geared towards your reptilian brain that acts very instinctually. That's why half of the things you buy, if you sit down to really think about them a week or a month later, you realize, man, I just didn't have to buy the stuff that I bought. But in the moment, it made a lot of sense. I either had to buy, or I just had to, or I was going to die, whatever it is. So that's your reptilian brain. Then you've got your limbic brain, or the limbic system. The limbic system is responsible for all of your long-term memory. That's where your hypothalamus is. Your decision-making frameworks. That's where your emotions are. That's your limbic brain. It's your processing brain. And then of course you've got the neocortex or the frontal cortex. That's your thinking brain. That's where your intellectual functions reside. So those are the three areas of your brain, and it's very interesting because I like to explain it in terms of just not making it too technical and too scientific, as your conscious and your subconscious mind. You see, that's a very critical classification in terms of our brain. We have the conscious and the subconscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is your intellect. That's your neocortex. That's where all your intellectual functions come from. And by the way, this only has a memory span of about 15 seconds. Anything beyond 15 seconds does not come from your conscious mind. It comes from your subconscious mind. It doesn't come from your neocortex. You then get into the limbic system of the brain. So that's the guy out there at the top. And then the internal one is your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is literally your operating system. That's where you function from. That's where your memories are stored. That's where your habits are stored. That's where your preferences are stored. That's where everything. I mean, you've seen me. I've told you my name, and your mind has created a little box that has now immortalized me. Why? Because you've stored it in your subconscious mind. Next time we meet, you'll be like, oh, that's Dr. Thando Sibanda, by the way. I won't need to reintroduce myself. Why? Because your mind has made a mental map and it has put it in your subconscious mind. So remember, your subconscious mind in a computer to be like your operating system. You operate from your subconscious mind and you interface with the world from your conscious mind. And all of that is governed by what I call your RAS, your reticular activation system, which then helps you process information from 400 million bits to about 2,000 bits, based on your priorities, based on your perception and your worldview. So just in a bit, that's what it is. And then of course, I really want us to understand this part, because our neural network is very critical, because neurons are these components of our bodies that transmit information. We've got what is called a neural network, and you have 100 billion neurons in your system. It's awesome. It's amazing, isn't it? 100 billion neurons. It's all of these pathways, these different pathways that carry information from one part of from the brain to every part of the body. Remember, the brain is the main operational engine, and you have what are called neurotransmitters, which are axons and dendrites. Now, these are the guys that literally carry the information, and so we say that neurons that fire together wire together, right? So these neurotransmitters, they release an electrical impulse. If the brain says, "Hey, I'm reaching for the door," your neural network that has established that instruction sends a message from the hand to the muscles in the hand to actually grab, open this, that. It happens in split seconds. It's a very, very powerful system that we have. And so your neural network creates the path, And so how is this important? It's important because neurons that fire together wire together. So when you learn something, you start a neural pathway. And a neural pathway from the brain, it fires here, once it gets to the hand. Once you establish that system of thinking, it becomes a neural pathway. It becomes a very big highway. And that's very important, because that's how behaviors are formed. That's how certain habits are formed. Habits are simply repeated actions where you've created a highway, a neural highway, in terms of just the link from your brain to your hand. That is why in some things you can actually, for example, if I gave you a keypad and I say punch in your bank pin, your hand seems to move faster than you can think. Why? Because there's now a neural network. There's a neural network that facilitates that, And so it's a very interesting system, and that's the science behind it. And I'm going to show you how then the winning component comes into it, and so that's the science. Neurons that fire together wire together. Habits, behavior system, mindsets, and thinking patterns are simply very established neurons. You've done it so much that you don't even think about it. It's now a neural pathway. That's why it's called a habit. You do it without even thinking. So it's a result of a very powerful science that's happening in you. Now, let me take you to the concept of the mindset and why it's important to have a winning mindset. When we talk about a mindset is a particular way of thinking, right? It refers to a person's attitude or a set of opinions about something. It's a mental inclination, right? So a mindset actually refers to the fact that someone thinks in a very specific way about specific things. That's the point. The Romans created concrete, and the thing about concrete is that they discovered that if you mix the cement with water and soil and expose it to certain temperatures for a period of time, guess what? it sets. Once it sets, it's very difficult to break. That's why you can walk into a cave and you can see it's written somewhere, Eugene was here, or Thando was here. Or you walk into a building, it was written and crafted into the wall, so and so was here. That was done when the cement was wet, when the mixing process took place. Once it's set, it's immortalized. Whatever you wrote on the wall is there. That's what a mindset is like. It's a very strong system of thinking. It's a mental inclination. It's a particular way of thinking. I'm just going to bring up a poll now, and I just want to find out what your thoughts are in this. Would you say that you have a set way of thinking about certain things? Maybe you have a set way of thinking about money. Do you have a set way of thinking about relationships? Of thinking about business, of thinking about, a lot of us have got set ways of thinking about stuff. Yeah, wow, great stuff, great stuff. I see the response is 80%, 88% of us say, well, we actually have a set way in which we think about that. And that's why people say, let me give you my opinion. Your opinion is actually a set way of thinking about something and how you have processed something. So yeah, 89%. There's only 11% that say, well, I don't have a set way of thinking about anything. I'm kind of open. Wow, very, very interesting. Now, my question is, of course, how do we develop a winning mindset? And the question is, can we teach an old dog new tricks? Because a lot of us always say to ourselves, no, you know what, that's just the way I'm wired. That's just the way I am. Accept me the way I am. I'm just wired like that. And we say things like, a leopard can't change its spots. No, in fact, science disagrees with you. There is no one who is so hardwired that they can't learn new tricks. And that's why I love what I do, because I get to teach old dogs new tricks. It's nice when an old dog learns a new trick. Totally goes against the grain, goes against convention, and you help people rediscover themselves, relaunch themselves. People at 85, at 90 years old have rediscovered themselves and gone mountain climbing, while others have accepted who they are and started buying coffins and choosing the coffin handles. It's all about understanding that there's a science through which you can grow. It's called neuroplasticity or brain plasticity. I'm going to challenge you with the rest of my presentation to find a way to change, to find a way to embrace this new context of thinking that can allow you to rediscover and to relaunch yourself in a very, very particular way. Right. Now, here is that concept. It's called neuroplasticity. It's the fact that you can establish new neural pathways. So you can start learning new things, you can learn new behaviors, and as you learn new behaviors, you are establishing a new neural pathway, and your brain starts to work, and your brain starts to create that as a habit. It creates it as a thought. It creates it as it becomes part of your character. It becomes part of your destination. All of that is very possible. So neuroplasticity says, yes, our brain is not rigid. Our brain can learn. Our brain can grow. And you are forming new neural pathways all the time as you are learning. So is there a moment to stop learning? No, even an adult can learn. As much as a child can learn, an adult can learn. So old pathways get used less and less, and they weaken and they fall apart. So when you need to learn something new, tell yourself, I can do it. And I've got the capacity within. Once you embrace that, you've given yourself a chance, an amazing chance, an amazing opportunity. I went back to school. I actually did my PhD when I was 38. That's when I started on my PhD. Can you imagine? 17, 20, 25-year-olds, it's easy to sit in class at that level. But at 38, you've already formed certain mindsets and stuff. If I did not believe in neuroplasticity, they'd say, no, when you're too old, you can't sit in school. All of the things are going to go over your head. But then I realized that I have brain plasticity and I can learn. And guess what? I'm enjoying this new lease of life and I'm enjoying what I do. I'm learning every day. I'm literally learning every day. I'm actually learning piloting. I'm going to be flying planes at my age. It's not for 25-year-olds. It's also for 45 or for 50-year-olds. Anybody can learn something new. That's the concept of neuroplasticity. Now, I'm going to give you just 3 tools. How do you develop a winning mindset? The first one is develop the right belief system. I know this is very, very critical. This is very, very key because, you know, a belief system is a very powerful thing. And let me explain it. A belief system is an internalized certainty concerning something. A belief system is one of the most powerful things you will ever encounter in your life. People die for their belief systems. People will shift their lives for their belief system. Why? Because it's an internalized certainty concerning something. If I believe that I am the greatest at what I do, even on a bad day, I will have energy for it. But if I believe that I'm just not good enough, even if I had all the tools in my hands, guess what? I can't do anything about it. Belief systems are powerful. I remember one time I was flying to England. I flew through Istanbul, Turkey. 2 a.m. I land in Istanbul airport, 2 a.m. And it's an amazing airport. Thousands of people traveling at any given time. I'm walking there, 2 a.m., and I see a group of guys who had put some rugs and they were kneeling and they were praying in one of the busiest airports in the world. And my question is, wow, who would do that? Wouldn't you be conscious and say, you know what, I need to actually go and pray in a separate room? No, once they put their mats on the ground, once they started praying, guess what? They shut off everybody else. I realize that I'm seeing a belief system at work. And with respect, I acknowledge that that's the power of the belief system. That's why people live for their belief systems and people die for their belief system. Your belief system is your operational mechanism. It's the software that runs your entire existence. You are a combination of different belief systems. Some they were installed when you were a child and you got to understand them, you got to accept them. And now without you even thinking anything that you encounter, you will always put it against the frame of your belief system. That's where you get your opinion. That's where you get your thought system. That's where you get your position on anything. Belief systems. And your belief system, remember, it is protected by your conscience. Your conscience is the guard to anything that wants to violate your belief system. You know, and that's why if you do something that is not part of what you believe, your conscience goes beep, 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 beep. But if you do it often and you end up accepting it as a belief system, the conscience keeps quiet and says, you know what? We have accepted it. It's a part of how we do things around here. And so let me just give you a few things about a belief system. A belief system, that's what I'm saying, it's a science. It forms, and they are what I call formative legs of a belief system. And there are 5 of them in terms of what I've gathered when I've done my research. Now, here's the powerful thing you've got to understand. Anything with 3 legs will stand. A chair with 3 legs will stand. A plane has got 3 sets of wheels, 1 in the front, 2. Anything with 3 legs will stand. So a belief system needs a minimum of 3 legs to actually be built. Minimum of 3 legs. But there are 5 formative legs. The first one is a suggestion. So how do you form a belief system? Say, for example, someone who believes that probably they are slow. How did it come about? Well, you are sitting at home with your siblings. Your mom gives you plates of food. Everybody, guys, time to eat. And you all start eating, right? And then you are the slowest. And your mom says, why are you the slowest? Oh, you are very slow. Others have finished eating. That's a suggestion, right? And then that's the first time you are hearing, I'm slow. You go to class, you know, and the teacher gives you a set of 10 questions, you know, and says, guys, you've got 10 minutes. Maybe that day, not because you're particularly slow, but because other guys are just faster than you, but you are not slow. They're just faster. You know, there's that level. Now, others finish, and by, you know, and the teacher turns around and says, guys, put your pens down. Oh my gosh, why are you slow? Everyone has finished. Now, that's a testimony. That's the second leg. So the suggestion from your mother was the first leg. The testimony, now you're saying, oh my gosh, yeah, it looks like I'm slow. The teacher is testifying to what your mother said. It becomes another leg. Now you start thinking, I'm actually slow. Thirdly, if you go running with others, not because you are slow, particularly because others are faster that day, or maybe that day you're just not in the mood, and you are somewhere in the rain, and your friends say, hey, what? She's very slow or he's very slow. That's reinforcement. It reinforces the testimony. Now a belief system is forming. It's forming. Now you're starting to believe, I think I'm actually slow. And the fourth one is a conviction. Anything else that happens. Probably you do another activity and you see that, my God, I just didn't make it on time. Guess what? It's a conviction. You are convinced that now you are slow. And the last thing is a position. Once it becomes a position, your subconscious mind kicks in to protect you. Even where you could be fast, you have told yourself you're slow, you believe you're slow. Even when you could be so much faster, you will become slow. Because your subconscious mind exists. One of its prime directives is to enforce your belief system. And that's why you can do what you believe in without feeling bad. And you can do what you believe in without thinking about it. I hope this kind of makes a certain it makes sense to some of us. And so there are 5 legs of a belief system, and once they are established, guess what? It becomes a challenge. Right? Let me move it right along. And I want to ask, what limiting beliefs do you hold concerning a change, concerning being good enough, concerning progress, concerning business, your life, money, relationships? A lot of us have got certain belief systems that we now hold and say, this is just who I am. Maybe you believe certain things. Are those limiting you or are those empowering you? Remember, beliefs can either be limiting or they can be empowering. It's important. And of course, I've got another poll here. Do I really believe I'm good enough? I think it's very important to ask that question, to say, do I really believe I am good enough? Because a lot of us don't quite do things well because we don't quite believe we're good enough, and it's a general question on anything. Because some of us just don't believe they are, they are good enough. So when there's a question being asked at work and there's this and that, even if you have the answer, you sit back and you keep quiet because you just don't believe that you are good enough. All right, well, great answers, great answers. I see answers are coming in, guys. Thank you so much. Let me move it along. I always say whenever I teach on this, take a moment and do what I call break a leg activity. Confront your belief systems and break all of the negative beliefs or all of the limiting beliefs by putting up a positive belief. I remember I coached someone who didn't believe that who believed they were not good enough. It was a belief system because their father used to say, you're just not good enough, you're just not good enough. And this guy went through life failing even when he could do great things. I said, let's see, are you married? Yes. Also, you are good enough to be married. Do you have kids? Yes. Also, you are good enough to be a father and a husband. Oh, do you have a job? Yes, I'm a manager at work. Also, you are good enough to lead others. So he began to realize that, my gosh, I am actually good enough. And he used that as his break a leg moment, where he broke the legs of the chair of the chair that formed that belief system, and he went ahead and started doing great things in his life. The second thing I'm going to say is raise your standard. Raise the standard. So first is let go of your limiting beliefs. Develop the right belief system. Secondly, raise the standard. Now, your standard is a very important thing. In fact, that word standard is a military term. That's where it came from. It's 2 words. It's the word stand and the word hard. So when you say raise your standard, it's actually raise your stand hard. If you see there, it's the picture of the Battle of Iwo Jima in February of 1945, when the US was invading Japan, and they fought for this little island of Iwo Jima, which is about 1,200 km away from Tokyo, because it was such a vantage point. And this picture has immortalized the American standard, because they fought. The Japanese had made up their minds that this was going to be a stand, and they were going to take, each Japanese was going to kill 10 Americans, and there were 20,000 Japanese soldiers in that battle. The Americans pushed until they won, and they set up this flag on Mount Suribachi as a symbol of American ingenuity, American perseverance, and American pride. And you can see it's a standard that that country or that nation carries even up to today. It's a standard, but a standard is a stand hard. That's why a flag becomes a rallying point. Your standard is a rallying point. So my question is, why do people take you seriously? It's because of your stand hard, your standard. Why do people not take you seriously? It's because of your standard. It's important that we raise the standard of our words. We speak on average 145 to 160 words per minute. That's about 72,000 words in 8 hours. Are you a person that keeps your word? Are your words positive? Are your words negative? Because positive words contribute to winning mindsets, and negative words contribute to losing mindsets. In fact, I'll even say raise the standard of your thoughts. Because it's funny, we speak 160 words a minute, but we think 6 to 7 times faster. So it means that your thoughts per hour are 42,000 thoughts. Thoughts per 8 hours are 336,000, and your thoughts for every 24 hours are over 1 million. And guess what? Science tells us that up to 80% of our thoughts are negative. They make us lose. They make us fail. And so, if you are going to win, you've got to think, you've got to start interrogating your thoughts and raising the standard of your thoughts. My last one here, as I finish, is called change your strategy. The word strategy is a military term. It's the term strategos. It's a strategos. It's a Greek military term that actually speaks to strategy and how you do things. And I want to say, even as I close, change your strategy. Let go of things that are not winning and things that are not working out for you. And with these 3 ways, you will start engaging what I call a winning mindset. And when you have a winning mindset, you are moving, you are learning, you are establishing stages of learning where you move from unconscious incompetence to a state of unconscious competence, where you don't think about your competency. And with that, I want to say thank you so much for being with me on this session. I trust that you really enjoyed yourself. And just a final poll, was this helpful today? Was this really helpful for you? If you learned something, please do just answer that poll. But I want to say thank you so much for being with me on this call. And please do not forget, there's another session just coming up at 11. I hope to see you guys on that session. Make sure that you are ready for it and go for it. I'll just give you a minute or two to just put in some comments. Some seconds to put in some comments. But let me hand over to you, Eugene. Thank you so much, guys. It's really been a great opportunity to talk to you today. All right, guys, I'll see you at 11. Have a good day.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Okay.
Sorry about that, there, guys. It seems as Thando, as you ended up, my internet at home, the fiber went off. So luckily, I was able to reestablish it. Thank you for that session. We're going to take it's now 11. The next session starts at 11, and I hope to see you guys there after this. After we end the webinar, you'll be pointed automatically to the next one. Again, you can register straight off, use the same email, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, Thando. Great topic.
Thank you. Sure.